Welcome to the Nurture Pod. My name is Iris Sullivan Dare, and I'm here with the ever lovely Ginger Edwards. But we're actually not here together. We are across many thousands of miles as Ginger travels the globe. I'm here in the northwest corner of Oregon, and this is the place. Why are you here? Why are you listening? This is the place where we explore that middle zone, that big, messy middle between kind of just what is, as far as we're able to perceive it, and what could be possible, and kind of just looking at our life through that lens. So
Mm,
that's this place where we're having that conversation.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Feels good to be back. Have we talked since I've been in Guatemala?
No.
Okay, so this is the first episode of me in Guatemala. That's what I thought. I thought it was
I
the
feel
last one
I,
was Peru.
I think we talked like literally the day before you left Peru.
That's
Because
probably right.
you had just gone um to the town that I think begins with a P with
Oh yeah,
the
Pisac. Yeah, so
rose.
yep. We had just done plant medicine and yeah, all that good stuff. So now it's like 2 weeks later. Yeah, we're in the. I think it's been almost
Yeah,
2 weeks.
yeah.
So Halloween happened, and that was super fun. And then yeah, so I am now in Guatemala. And I came here basically to rest. I had this inspiration of just I need to go somewhere and take a month and kind of I don't know, incorporate what happened in 2025, which I realized was this massive year of change. And we're in November, which feels to me like kind of crazy that we're like
Yeah.
almost at the end of this year. And then I started to think about all the things I did in 2025 and like how much change has happened in my life. I was like, wow, no wonder in November I'm feeling like, hey, maybe you should take a month and take stock of what all just went down because Peru was great. It was a leap, but it was like 3 months of just going, adventure.
But your sound cut out, babe. Oh, heck.
Is it back on?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm going to watch this. This might be a battery thing. So sorry, everybody. Go ahead.
Oh, it's off again. So I'll talk something beautiful while you figure out your thing. It's interesting that you're talking about like kind of like the importance of the pause because that has been a really on my mind this week as well in a micro way because as you know, I do children's art education and I'm part of a bigger program where there's multiple of us teaching the same lesson. And this month's lesson is like really packed. So we've got 90 minutes and it's like to the minute, pretty much. Like by this minute, I need to be presenting this. By this minute, they should be doing that. And it's not always like that. And I was really thinking about the value of spaciousness in order to really to learn, but really to live. Like when we never can catch your breath, like we're not able to fully experience life if you're always
Interesting.
running.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I switched mics.
I thought that what I was having to say was pretty spot on, though. It wasn't just
Oh
keeping
yeah,
time.
yeah. No, I wasn't ignoring you. I was listening to you. I was changing mics. I just wanted to make sure if I said something, you could hear me. That's so funny. No, it's true. I mean, we are. I think what's that time of year, right? Like you have to have these spaces where I don't know, yeah, you take and truly like between Halloween or Samhain and winter solstice, I think is that time. It's like the recalibration, or at least the almost like it's almost like you let yourself rest and dissolve a little bit. Like I did all of that, and now it's like kind of creating space for the new cycle, the new year. In what the old Celtic world, Samhain would have been the new year. It would have been,
Correct. Yeah.
and then they went into this like kind of cool liminal space where they knew like the light wasn't returning for a while, but it like a new cycle had kind of initiated. And so you went into this kind of cauldron space where Caradwin or like the Kaliak, these kind of um, wintry goddesses would come in and like they are kind of destroyer, kind of Kali energy, where they like melt things in their cauldrons, or they rip things apart, and then you get to weave them back together again as the light comes back in the solstice. So I feel kind of like it's on point for both of us to realize that there needs to, like, going. And at a certain point, you have to, what am I doing?
Well, and it's something that is really internally, like I feel like it's really a struggle for me to not to not feel like I just remember we used to have this really lovely neighbor for years and years that lived in the house right next door to us, which is kind of like a there's some space in between, but the house next door to us. And her husband had been a landscaper and he had passed away, but she was out there with her weed whacker like on the regular, right? Like she was totally wanting to maintain this incredible thing that he had made, and brought see that, right? But like I was working a lot, but I was working as a baker. So like like sometimes I would get home and if I could fall asleep in the afternoon
All right.
after my 9 hour, 10 hour shift, still daylight, still like other people's, within that 9 to 5 window, like I desperately needed to sleep
Mm.
if I had the space for it, but like I could not sleep because I could hear these other people working and I would feel so guilty that I wasn't working.
Oh.
Like I was slacking, but it's like where were they at 2:50 when my alarm went off? Like like
Well, what's interesting is what I thought you were gonna say is they were making so much noise with their weed whackers you couldn't sleep, but it was actually your guilt about not.
guilt was how making
Wow.
it hard for me to sleep. So like I mean, it's a part of like also I hate the sound of those engines, but
Yeah.
which is its other thing. But really, it was like the embarrassment and guilt of like slacking while they
Oh.
were working. Like I mean, this is years ago. I have gotten slightly better. Like I am able to let but I guess what I'm saying is I don't think I'm alone in that kind
No, I
of
mean, I can.
cultural entrainment.
No, the cultural entrainment is so hard. And also, think about it. Like, right when we go into this, like, liminal, quiet, darkest time of the year, two huge holidays, right? Like, Thanksgiving and Christmas back to back start up. And so people are like, they don't get a chance to rest. You go right into this,
Are you
like,
ready for the holidays?
yeah, exactly. That starts immediately. Like, it's crazy. Like, and so I've never liked, I mean, I've never really enjoyed the push in that time of year because, well, a lot of times for a long time I was in retail, and so it was like, it
Yes.
it made all your money in this section of time. Like, pretty much like 80% of your income was coming from Christmas sales, and that was true of my tea company as well. So it was like, when I was farming, just vegetable CSA farming, that was like the best because I realized that you were pretty much done. Like, you wrapped up, the farm was wrapped up by November. You're pretty much done. Everything's in storage. The fields are covered, and you legitimately get that like November, December, January window to rest. The ground is resting. It's pouring, right? Like, no, you can't do anything. And then by like the end of January, you start to plant again. You start getting ready to go again. But it was like the most natural cycle of a job, obviously as a farmer, but it was great and I loved it. And I would often go traveling. I would take off, like it's somewhere in end of December, January. But then I got back into tea, and then it was like, oh, now I'm back on the cycle of this, this crazy. And I never, so it feels interesting to now be away from all of it. And I can top your story because I'm on vacation. Like, I'm basically just traveling. I don't have work. I'm not doing anything. And I still feel like I should be doing something every day. Like, I think that was what was going on in Peru. Like, I'm like, I'm in a new country. Like, it's my obligation or job now, like, quote unquote job, to see everything, do everything, taste everything, go everywhere, see all the museums, see all. And it was kind of like, go, go, go. But I realized, like, if I was at home, like most days you would
Yes.
you would have a day and then you go home and chill. Like, in the evenings, like, you wouldn't go out every single night. You wouldn't go to a restaurant every, you
Right,
would
right, right.
calling people, seeing people, doing stuff. It's kind of insane. So I feel like this 3 months I've been really in this weird, again, entrainment of a cultural
Mhm.
entrainment from the dominant culture to be doing. And so Guatemala was really my time to be like, just don't. do. Like, don't, I mean, yes, I'm in Spanish classes, but like beyond that, like, don't feel like you have to, you know, pick something every single night to go find, something fun to do, or blah, blah. And so this whole first week has been really interesting because well, I got my period, so it was helpful, but I was
Oh,
also,
nice.
I just did very little. Yeah, it was my first period of the 3 months I've been gone, that I haven't been on a massive hike or stuck in the
Oh,
jungle.
yes, yeah, totally.
I've actually had like my own room with my own bathroom, and I can take naps. I mean, I can sleep. I can do what my body wants to do, which is rest. Do nothing. And as I started Guatemala with that vibe, kind of, I was like, oh, this feels good. Like, I don't need to create an agenda for I don't need to plan my week with all these little things. Like, I can just wake up in the morning and be like, do I want to do this today, or do I, it's okay to
That's
come
the that's
home
the
and
the
like
the
read a book, like, and just lay in bed and read at 7 p.m. Like, like, instead of, trying to push it till I feel like I should be, I don't know, I feel like I should be out there doing something until, 9 or 10, and then come. It's ridiculous. Why?
it's a it's interesting because I feel like that the it's for me, I have to like actively permission myself for down days,
Yeah.
right? And so like I think we've talked about this before, like the make my life better plan. Like
Hmm.
so it's like on the weekends, I'm on the make my life better plan, and that number one thing is what does my body say?
Yeah.
I have to run everything past the body, and the body's like, oh, I'm really tired. I need a nap. And it's like, no. And I'm like, I gotta, because it's what my
It's to
body
say
says.
that. Yeah. If
It's
you
what the,
ask, you got to listen.
you gotta,
Yeah.
yeah. So like the trying to like maximize, it's like I should have more than one make my life better plan day every 3 months, right? Like in
Yeah.
the reality that should be happening very regularly for everyone.
Well, again, like, I don't have any excuses at this point. I'm like, I am not doing anything. I'm basically have entire days where I can just plan my day, and I'm still like, oh, I my thing was I want to take Spanish classes, I want to do yoga, I want to meditate, and I want to exercise. I want to try to get, Guatemala is my like me time, basically. Like, let's take care of myself, let's be really healthy. And like, I can tell you right now, like, it is so hard to change patterns. Like, even even if, like, I don't have a job. Like, there's nothing constraining me other than my brain at this point. And like, I have to force myself to. I mean, I signed up for classes. That's good. If you have like a teacher waiting for you,
Yeah.
like, I'll go to Spanish class. But in terms of yoga and meditation, yeah, that's a new, like, I have to get back into that habit. So I've literally had to do like 5 minutes of each, like, just to get myself to do it in the
to
morning.
start the pattern reset. Oh, heck, you froze.
No.
Oh, come. Oh, well, there you are.
Okay, let's say, oh, it's probably me.
So
You
you're doing
know,
5 minutes at a time.
yeah, and so it's like a 15-minute package in the morning before my Spanish class, which is, I know, sounds really kind of not very much, but it's something. It's just a way to get my brain to be like, this is what we're doing in the morning. Like, even if it's just 5 minutes, just do it. And then I can be 10 minutes, next week it'll be 10. And then, my goal would be like 30 minutes a piece, which would be life. I mean, literally, it would be life transforming. If I could do 30 minutes of each of those every morning, that would transform my world. I know it would. Like, like, I would get stronger. I would do, if I did push ups and all my things, and I would be building muscles, I would be, tuning in and like getting really peaceful in the morning. And I would stretch, which I need to do. In your 50s, you just can't like not do this stuff anymore. I feel like it really is my
Yeah.
job to take care of my body. Speaking of really
Yes.
body, and so, but it's been hard. Like, today I woke up and I had nothing to do today. Like, it was Saturday. I don't even have class. And I've been like, I did laundry. That's pretty much what I did. And I always write. I write in my journal, and I love drinking tea and writing in my journal to excess, like, to the point of like 2 hours in, I'm still drinking tea and writing in my journal, which this probably tells me I should probably be like doing more writing. Like, maybe that's one of my things I like to do. But it's mostly just thinking out loud, on in my journal, like
Yeah.
processing my own thoughts, which takes a while, and I very much enjoy it. But yeah, it's wild just to watch
It's
yourself.
I think it's an interesting to me. I've been thinking about time. I
Mm,
can't remember if yeah, we talked after that. Like um I had to do one, I'd had to do a lesson with no clock in the room and realized it's like,
Uh,
oh my gosh, I so need it in order to pace myself. Like I don't
yeah,
have that good internal
yeah.
clock like that. And so I really need it externalized. But just realizing like what our expectations are um for how much time it should take to do something or how long is long enough and how long is too long and it's like I find that it's a really interesting thing in our society because I feel like often have a lot of pressure to be like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And what
Yes.
because I think what it is from when we're really little, because I'm observing in the school system, it's like, all right, come on, go. You got to go to your next class. You got to do this. You got to do this. We're like moving children around in this very hysterical way.
Which is definitely training for jobs, right? Like, I mean, it's
Yes,
definitely like you can
yes,
see people like hurry up thing. That's a capitalist, like, get it done, so we
yes.
can be more productive. It's very early. And man, like,
And
yes, you're
it's
right.
and we're doing it like to kids that are because I'm at the one school that's kind of Waldorfy. They're not a Waldorf school, but very gentler pace. They spend most of their time outside, and that's like that. I do the after school program at. The vibe on those kids is so much more engaged and
Oh
chill,
yeah.
and they're and it's like wildly so, and it's like okay, so what happens when we expect all of us to be able to do school without being emotionally resourced.
Oh yeah.
We.
Emotionally resourced is not a thing in America. Like, nobody seems to care about that. Like, that's like the
It's
least of the issues, right? It's all about what did you do? Show us your test scores. What did you get
uh-huh.
done? How fast did you do it? How well did you do? It's like it's definitely a
With no help.
a
That's that
factory mindset. Yeah.
yes.
Mhm. Yeah, and then
It's
I feel like it's so funny that you said timing, because I also feel like when you're like, I have this clock too for myself. Like I said, like, what time is appropriate for me to go home? Like, I'm on vacation. I can do whatever I want. And I'm like, is it
yes.
lame? Is it like, you know,
Are
nerdy of
you
me to
being a
go
loser
home? Yeah,
if you
am I a
go
loser if
to
I
go to
go
bed at
home before
7:30?
8 o'clock? Or like, do I need like it's and you realize that I was just talking to a friend, and I realized like it's all just a story. Like, there actually is
Yes, yes,
no one
yes,
out
yes.
the clock timing any of this. It is completely some weird story that we picked up along the way about how our lives are supposed to run and look, and timing is absolutely a part of it. It's so strange, but it's
Well,
true.
I mean, if you ever looked into like is it like the what is the dude's name? There was this guy that like talking about natural time and like Mayan time and how the Julian calendar is like
Mm.
this big giant long-term psyop of controlling us and like
Whoa.
like there's this whole thing about it. I don't really know very much about it, but just I thought you might have run across it. But like just like think about it like what is our actual like what is like you talking about being a farmer? It's like
Mhm.
the my world as a farmer, I am pretending like I'm a farmer right now. My world as a farmer, the plants are sleeping, the land is resting. This
Yeah.
is time for me to rest and rejuvenate and be ready for, growing season again. Like
Yeah.
that, like our need on a year base, our need on a soul 1 day base, like all of that, we're much more akin to what nature says. This is what I need. Like trees aren't saying, I want to make apples in December. They're saying time to
Right.
sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a natural clock going on. I mean, there
Right.
there is
But
one. Earth has a clock for sure, and it's
but
seasons and temperatures and rainfall amounts. And I mean, like, there's every place has its own seasonal vibration. Down here it's rainy or dry. That's kind of what's happening. And then it goes back into rain, and it's definitely a rhythm. Like, we talked about frequency a lot last time. I was really
yeah,
on to
yeah, yeah.
frequency, but when you have this culture that's like the frequency is this, all the
Yeah.
time, no matter what is going on. Of course, we're gonna be like, "Ugh," our sense of what time is all discombobulated. And it's
Yes.
really interesting when I stepped away from all of that, and I have no schedule, and I'm also moving through different places. you really do have to be like, so what is my own timing?
Yes, yes,
Like
yes.
just for me, like what does my body want? Like I understand this place is doing a thing. I don't know. I'm only here for a month. Like, do I tune into, I don't know. Like I just, it's dark here at 5:30. I mean, really the sun goes down
Wow.
here. And it's like, should I go to bed now? Like, or am I obligated to hang out? Like, should I? And I guess it really comes down to is like listen to your own body. And like, my body on my period this week has been like, go home and go to. It doesn't matter what time it is. Like, I want to lay down. Like, okay, I
So
need a
I have a
shower or
question.
whatever.
I have a question about daylight hours there because
Yeah,
I've spent most of my life at, whatever we at 45th parallel
yeah,
zone, so summer here means, it's light until 10, but
yeah.
is it like close enough to the equator there that the day and like is Hawaii have pretty like day length, night length similar all year round? How much
I was really
variation?
surprised. Yeah, I was really surprised at how early you know what I mean? Like how early it gets dark here. I mean, the sun goes down around 5:30. It doesn't actually get dark until probably like 6:30.
Yeah.
But in Peru too, like I was in that sacred valley and like at 4:30, but they were in a valley, right? So they had mountains on
Okay.
either side. So the sun would dip behind the mountains. But by 4:30, the sun was down and like it was getting dark. And it was for me, that was strange. Like I was like, it's so early, like for but I don't really know. I mean, yeah, we're not that close to the equator in Iguana. I was closer
In Peru,
in
right?
Peru, I think. Yeah, like it's running like through Ecuador, right? So yeah, the country just north of Peru. But yeah, I mean, Guatemala's down here, so I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure
Sorry.
how much their time.
I could-
I don't really know. I don't know how much their timing changes throughout the year, but I'm guessing it's more regular, like definitely way more regular than what I've experienced, like in the upper part of Oregon and Michigan. Like yeah, those extreme like tips. So, it just gets more and more extreme as you get towards Alaska.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I've
I
never
think
been there. Have you been to Alaska before?
no, I've never have. But I'd like to go to Iceland and just kind of experience the midnight sun, like that's
Mhm.
amazing to me. But yeah, no, down here it seems to be fairly regular, I guess. I don't know. And it's warm all the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did
Uh,
speaking of Scandinavia, we didn't talk. I went and got my loom.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
I
I saw
brought
that
my
beautiful
two,
picture that you sent.
yeah, I brought
Yeah.
my two jack looms down and we came back with the Swedish loom
Hmm.
and I'm in the middle of warping it, dressing the loom, like getting it all ready to weave. That's what I paused to talk to you because I love you. Um, but when I
Love our
taught,
listeners, Iris.
I love our listeners. And when I taught weaving at the college, I had a sign in the classroom that said, like it's like weaving is a thing that's totally done at human speed, right? Like
Very much.
you can't really, it just takes how long it takes, and your body is part of the machine, so you can only weave for as long as your body's like, okay, you need to stop now. And like, when I was younger, I could weave for 8 hours because I just loved it so much. And it was like, but so anyway, as I was setting up my loom this morning, this is continuation of the theme. Um, just realizing it's like, oh yeah, it's like I'm tying it in bundles of 1 inch, and so I have to count out how many threads it is, and then it's like there's all this whole rhythm of setting up the loom, and it's
Yeah.
very slow. It and especially if I've been doing anything on the computer where you're expecting everything to be kind of really fast, but like with weaving, it's like, oh yeah, like I have to count these threads. I have to thread each thread, every end has to go through the heddle and through the dent. So it's like you're literally threading hundreds of needles, right? Like
Mm,
that's just a slow process,
yeah. I
and
think, yeah, go ahead.
and you're in a place in the world that has a strong weaving culture.
Very much so.
So I want to give you a job, even though you're supposed to be on vacation, which is, I think it would be really fun for you to see if there was some sort of like 1 day, because
Oh yeah.
sometimes, you can go in and they have the loom all set up and just like show you how to do backstrap weaving for an afternoon. Like,
Yeah,
um,
I'm sure that's here.
it's anyway, but the, I just feel like it's like I had the realization because I haven't been weaving that much in the last few years, partially for a bunch of different reasons, but I'm really excited to start weaving again on this loom, which is easier on my body than my other loom. And
Mhm.
also I realized it's like, oh yeah, like this is so good for my brain
Mm,
because it's uses both sides of your body. And so like it's really connective. Like they
mm.
used weaving and like occupational therapy came out of helping brain injured soldiers. And the first thing that they brought looms in to VA hospitals to
Oh,
help
wow.
people heal their brains after
Wow.
like World War One. And so like anyway, I'm just thinking about that of like w human speed, like back, yeah, everything about just it's just like weaving is ultimate human speed thing. And
Absolutely.
like why do we have these judgments on things should be done quicker,
Well,
which
I
is
think one of the things you just said in there, that's really interesting to think about is computers, because how fast things are
Mhm.
moving now, how fast everything is moving, how fast the news cycle is moving, how fast entertainment is moving, how fast information is moving. And it does create a weird, like, contrast in your brain when you can access things so quickly, and then
Yes.
to have to go back to the speed of Earth, which is moving, of course, much, 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 much,
Hmm.
much slower. And so when you get into things like farming or weaving, or anything that's like pre, industrial kind of energy, which is like more basically human scale speed, right? Because there isn't a machine involved. It's like it's you and the warp
Plants.
or the
Yeah.
plants or whatever. So yeah, and I do notice that, like, here in Peru and in Guatemala, like, it's just a slower pace. Like, if you, especially when you're looking at the people who are just, like, there's weaving everywhere. Like, if I walk down the street, there's people weaving on their doorsteps, like all over the place. I mean, there's a guy you pass and he's weaving some kind of fishing basket, and then you pass the old man who's weaving little other like, and this lady's weaving her thing. It's kind of like something they just have in their laps very, very
Hmm.
commonly here. And that was true of Peru as well. There was women walking around just these little tiny, teeny tiny little things that they were weaving on, like the weaving little belts on and stuff. Um,
Wow.
it was kind of all over the place. And so, yeah, what that does is just like slows everything down, right? They have the afternoon to do that. Like, it's just not, the pace is not boom, 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 boom. And when I like watch social media or the news from the US, it does feel like kind of jarring to me, as I've been gone now only 3 months, but it's a different, you can tell the speed they're talking at, the speed that the
Mm.
images are flickering at. All of it just feels so much faster than just being in the street, like just walking around, because this is an ancient culture, this is a Mayan, these are the Mayans. It's 21, 22 languages spoken around this lake.
Oh, cool.
I mean, this
Oh,
is
on the
an
lake.
yeah, this is an indigenous population. These are many, many very, very old indigenous populations. My teacher, who's teaching me Spanish, speaks four language, Spanish, English, and two indigenous languages, just from living in this little tiny town, because there's two predominant languages, that she speaks from just here. And this is a tiny town, like probably the size of Manzanita, Oregon. Like, it's
Wow.
small.
Looking at
And so, yeah, I mean, these people, these cultures have been here for a really long time. And I was talking to her about COVID a little bit, just kind of like, she asked me how COVID was in the US, and I was talking about it. And then she said, COVID in their place, like, there was no tourists or anything, but she's like, there was a lot of people died. And I was like, oh, from the, virus? And she's like, no, these two huge rocks like broke free off the mountain and rolled down into the village and like crushed a bunch of houses. And I was just like, what? It was just it was like such a weird reality of, like, what it is like to live in like a small little, indigenous village. Like, what took people out wasn't COVID. It was these huge boulders
giant rocks.
that,
Oh my
yeah, like, just
gosh.
because, that's time. I mean, like, it just happens, nature, right? Like, eventually some boulders are gonna roll down. But it was like, I don't know, it just kind of blew my mind. I was like, "All right, like, that's the experience here," And and, uh, and then
Well,
she
and
said,
it you keep going.
oh, and then right on top of that, she's like, there was all this noise. I'm in this class, and it's all this noise. She's like, "Oh, you should go check this out." So I walked out onto the street, and there was everybody. It felt like everybody in town, like all dressed up. Kids have like fancy hats on, like they're making noise or blowing on horns, and I'm like, what is going on? And what was going on was this kid from their little village here. This is San Marcos on Lake Atlan in Guatemala, little tiny town. One of their kids who has special, kind of like special needs, like a little bit has like a mental disability. She tried to tell me, she's like, he's not maybe on the spectrum. There's something going on with him. But he grew up here, and he's probably like, I don't know, 16 or something. He went to Chile to run. He himself took it upon himself to start running up all the hills around here, just with no coach, like training himself in running. And then he like was good enough that he started winning like little local races, and so eventually like the little town here sponsored him to go to this big marathon in Chile, with a
Oh,
coach,
that's so
and he
great.
won. Like he won. Um,
Oh,
and so like he came back, and like this parade was for him. And so everybody, and it
oh,
was the sweetest. Everybody in town was like dressed up in like their traditional clothes, and they all had noisemakers. And he was on the back of a pickup truck with like the two, like, I don't, they weren't beauty queens. They were, she said these are the two queens, but like they were the queen of something sewing and the queen of something. Anyway, they won competitions, but they were
yeah.
on either side of him. And he was just like in the back of this truck, and it was all decorated. And he looked so, I mean, I have never seen a child look more proud and happy and just like beaming with like the entire town following him. And they just like paraded around the town, like all through the streets, like for a couple hours, just celebrating that he had won this race. And I was like, this
Oh my God, we need so much more of that.
I know. That's what I thought. I was like,
Oh, so
wow,
great.
that's like, like it just was so sweet, like to see the community supporting him, and they were all just, and she was like, oh my God, everyone's just so proud that he just did this by himself, and he's got a single mother, and like all the whole thing. So it was just really cool. And I don't know, it just made
Uh,
me feel really like, there you go. Like everybody took time out of their day, no matter what they were doing,
There
again,
was,
in
I think
America, like in the middle of the afternoon, you just don't see that happening. Like it's not that people don't get celebrated, but not like that. Like it was
when
just adorable.
and I can't remember if it was Astoria. Astoria won, the football team won state championship like some years ago when I was still doing the bakery thing. And so they did a little parade and they were going to go right past
Uh,
the bakery. And so, which we knew because one of the coaches would come in all the time. So we knew it was coming. And so we made a bunch of we made these bolillos, which are like a Mexican bread that we made used to make for one of the Mexican restaurants, but they're kind of football shaped. So we just made a whole bunch
uh,
of those, and then like we I don't know if we threw them to the football players or we gave them to them to throw. I can't remember, but like for
Aw,
their big parade down
nice.
the streets of Astoria, which is the big city, right? 10,000
Right,
people. So,
totally. Yeah, exactly. Another big town. But still, like that is such like nurture culture moment, just to see that, and it was really sweet. I wanted to
throw
share.
bread at people. Oh, I
Yeah,
love it so much. I totally love it
yeah,
so much. And it's like totally like, right? Like such a again, life at human scale versus, it's like,
yeah. And
you
I don't
know,
think we realize, like we, as Americans are very privileged to travel like around. Because I asked her, I said, "Have you ever been to South America?" No. Have you ever been to any other country in Central America? No. She's never left Guatemala. So like, and she's got to be in her 30s, so but maybe never will. And so for this kid to go to Chile, that alone is a
it's a
huge
huge
deal.
thing. Yeah.
Huge deal, because like they could very easily spend their entire lives around this lake, maybe go to like Antigua, which is like 3 hours away, that big city, right, which is not a big city. And but that, yeah, it was just a big deal. So it made me feel very heartwarmed, and also just like, again, when you were talking about like the scale of time, movement, blah blah blah, like how different it is at different speeds, you know what I mean? Like this was, I don't know,
And it's like how do you it's like the whole frog in a pot thing.
yeah,
Like if you're never have the opportunity to step out of the way time is framed in your
yeah,
society, then you think that that is what life is like. And then when you are in a different zone, then you're like, wait, that's not a given or like like there's not one set point for how we
absolutely
interact.
not. Yeah, absolutely not. And I mean, I do feel like this little town is great for relaxing, because just it's moving slower. Like, no, you could sit in a cafe for 2 hours and read a book, and that's fine. Like, nobody cares. Nobody wants you to go, and no one's hustling you. No one's clearing your table. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like, it's yeah, that's what we do. We just kind of hang out. It's lovely. It's
It's
really
so
lovely.
good.
But what the clock is, it's me. I'm the one who's like,
Yes, yes,
oh, am I
yes,
here
yes.
too long? Should I get up and go? Like, I'm the one checking and like
Yes, yes.
noticing and feeling like this is a waste of day. Like, I haven't done anything. Like, I haven't taken a hike. I haven't, like this whole like boom, boom, boom going in my head, which I'm gonna try to like really consciously work, like slow down this month, because that's what I'm here to do. And so I'm just gonna really try to like notice that when the clock is ticking in my own weird cultural brain, and be like, hey, like I sometimes have to say out loud to myself in the morning, like, there's no one checking on, like, you don't need to be anywhere. You know what I mean? No one's waiting for you. And I mean, just reflecting on 2025, like running your own business, as you well know, it's like, it's, you're always like, there's this weird, like, I need to be somewhere, right? Like, somebody must need something from me. Like,
Yeah.
and that takes a long time to unwind. It really, really does.
I've been
Uh,
thinking about like that transitioning too from like, like this idea that we have weekends and that you're supposed to be able to like and I know about myself, I'm very prone to hyper focus. So,
mm,
the good news is like as an artist, I'm like flow is easy peasy. Like I can get into
mm,
flow so easy that like I have a hair trigger flow state, which is great.
which is great.
And it's great. And also like I think, thinking about working for other people, I don't think I can fully express to them. It's like when you have me, that is a 24-hour experience for me. I am not turning off when
Right.
I leave. Like I am continuing to figure out this and it's like good bonus for you because you're only paying for me for while I'm there, but like my
Yeah.
brain does not let it go. My brain
Right.
has a really hard time transitioning to thinking
Yep.
about something else. And so like that's the ugly part of it for me personally. But like really like realistically, like I've realized for my creative process that I have to create some hard boundaries so that I can switch to thinking about something else. So it's like if I need to be
Yeah.
doing creative work, it's not like I can just fit it in because I can't turn off the other thing. And it's like it's very effortful to
Mm.
switch degrees. And so it's like this really interesting experience because I have never had regular weekends in my
Mm.
most of my life, except for since I
Yeah.
started working with the schools and Joe's working in the schools too. So like for the first time, really, except since like I was a kid, I have these like weekends, but it's like, is
Mm.
it is 2 days enough for me to stop thinking about work and have and think about other things? Like how long does what would be enough time? And I kind of think that a 3-day work week
Yeah.
would give me 2 full days off
Yeah.
because I would transition, then I could have
Hmm.
some time off, and then I would already start thinking about work again, and so transition. So it's like realistically, I think
It's very popular in Europe. A lot of places in Europe do 3 or 4 day work weeks. Like, very
I
common.
don't yeah, so I don't think it's just because like of my particular brain phenotype, but like yeah, like it's like this again, the
Oh, I mean, the
imposing
idea of weekends is like that again. This is factory
imposing.
industrialism.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
there's no,
yes.
there's nothing naturally human about working 5 days a week and then having 2 days off. I mean, that's that's just something that we just grew up in. We just grew up in an industrial, like factory based kind of mentality. And that's what school is based on. Again, school training you for
Hmm.
the job, right? So it's the same schedule. It's like they're just getting you ready. Like, this is what you're gonna do. And it's hard to turn off. I mean, I'm 3 months out and I'm still in that.
So
I mean,
to expect that you
it's
do that in a few hours,
it take
it's
no,
five.
yeah, it take 3 months and I'm just now. I mean, this is wild, really. I almost feel like I'm in like, what if you took a chicken that's been in a factory farm her whole life? You know what I mean? Like, or something, and just like set her
And it
free.
won't
Like,
go outside even though the door is
yeah,
open.
it's like the chicken's kind of like, like, this is cool, but I don't really know what to do with it. Like, I'm used to having this container, and like, food comes at a certain time, and I do that. Like, And I feel like I'm kind of being the free range human right now, and I'm learning how to do it.
I love it.
But it's true. Like
It's
I
totally
can do
true.
what I want. You know what I mean? And it's a very unusual experience. Like what do you know, like you and it's really fascinating to see like what all comes up when you could just be like, you don't have any boundaries. Like go for it. Like do you can fly to a new country if you can do what you want. And it's kind of freaky. It's not like entirely pleasant because you're used to having parameters around your time, specifically around your time, and like
Yes.
and productivity. These are the two things that I've been taught my entire life is important. And so when I'm not being productive or not focused or churning out something that other people can look at and be like, good job, and yet being a free range chicken right now, if I try to like write my newsletter, which if you're on my newsletter list, I'm sorry, it's been like a month since I've written a newsletter. It's I find this resistance. Like I am resisting. I think that's why I'm resisting the yoga schedule. Like I think there's part of me that's just really like I want to be free. I don't want to put myself back on a schedule, even though those things are healthy and I do want them. Like there's a
Yeah, yeah,
real
yeah.
big internal resistance to going back to any kind of like this is what you're doing at this time and this time, I'm
Because it
feeling
feels like,
it
does
feels
it
like
feel like
going
your body is recognizing time has been, um, oh God, coercive. Time has
it
been
is
applied,
very coercive.
schedule,
Yeah.
that schedule has been coercive and controlling.
Oh
And
yeah.
so it's like versus trellising and supporting your process.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like,
and I've had an endless to-do list for as long as I can remember. If you own property, you have an endless to-do list. If you're in debt, you have an endless. You just always have to be tracking, like like I have to do this and this and this, and then to get to a place where like, oh no, like literally nothing. Like I'm good, like right now, and that is like it's so weird. It's a weird,
also,
and I'm better at it now. I'm not. I'm the anxiety is gone, which is beautiful. Because actually, for several months, I had like almost a lot of anxiety around it. Like
yeah, yeah,
literally, who am
yeah,
I? Who am I without this? Like it
yeah.
was kind of freaking me out. Like, what's my purpose? Who am I? And now I'm like, okay, I'm a little past that. Like I'm grounded into like, okay, I'm just here. I'm in the present moment. I'm in Guatemala. Beautiful, beautiful. Be grateful for the privilege that you have to be here. But there's still like I met this beautiful young Italian girl who's grew up in like Portland, Oregon. Her mom was working for Nike from Italy, so
Oh, wow.
she had the accent. So I was like, "Oh, are you from where are you from?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm from Italy, but I grew up. I spent 8 years of my early life in Portland, Oregon." And I was like, "Oh," so we started talking, and I mean, she was like probably 29, beautiful, gorgeous, wearing all the right yoga clothes, and she spoke three languages, perfect English, perfect Spanish, perfect Italian. And I just found myself like looking at her being like, did I waste my life? Like all these questions started to
Oh,
come forward of like, this girl is 29. She's got it. She's traveling. She's a licensed therapist. She's got three languages. She's beautiful. Like I'm just like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I feel like such a loser all of a sudden. Like, just like I was comparing myself to like the timeline. I'm like,
timeline.
she's doing this and I mean, obviously, it's like a totally different life. Like I didn't grow up in Italy and all the things with parents who were moving around teaching me languages. But like it really I came back from that and she was the funny thing was we were both in the same kind of like little hippie space and she had ordered this like a tea and like this beautiful chickpea like salad and like a little soup or whatever. And I had like ordered a pizza and I didn't realize how big they were, but they were really big.
Oh
I was
my.
there for myself and this giant pizza comes out. And I ordered a Hawaiian pizza, which I think is an affront to anybody in Italy because there's pineapple on it.
Oh, oh,
And I had a beer. I had two beers, so an empty can and another beer in front of
oh
me.
my gosh.
And so the whole thing was just set up for me to feel like, wow, I am the I'm not doing it. Like she's obviously this like got it all together, and I'm just sitting here like chowing out a pizza. I don't know. Just I came back and I was like, maybe I should think about why that bothered me. Like it didn't bother me while I was talking to her. She was very sweet, but like later, I was like, oh man. And I started thinking like
I,
it was a timing thing. It was like she's so young and she's got this all figured out.
or not, right? Because it's, but or she does, and it's awesome. because
Yeah,
thank God, because the
exactly.
world needs so much of that, right? Like,
Totally, totally.
so like, I mean, I feel like, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's an interesting thing. Getting older is so interesting because it's like, again, it's about time. Like when
Hmm.
you're in your 20s, time seems so enormous. Like when
Yeah.
you have a baby, you are in the eternal now. My experience of having a baby in the house was that it's the eternal now. So
Mm,
time was super weird
mm,
because it's just like babies are not in a time. They're just like
right.
now. So it feels like it feels like this is forever. And like every single, all these other adults who have, all these people, everyone's like, it's so quick, it's so quick, it's so quick. But the
Mm,
experience within it is not that this is really quick. The experience
right.
looking back, it's like that was a hot second. The
Yeah.
experience of being in it was, it is, it's endless. It's like it is
Mm,
infinite. You are in the eternal now.
which of course we are
We are,
always.
but it's like really
Yeah.
it's like also you're sleep deprived, so you really are in an altered
Right.
state of consciousness, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And so like it's so interesting. And it's like, oh, so it's like our experience of time is so variable. And this
Hmm.
insistence that it's like we're being gaslit to believe that time is somehow regular when it absolutely is not experientially. And we're
Mm.
told that that's not real, that it is regular. There's an atomic clock and it's da 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 da. And it's like
No, time's very much an illusion, I think.
time is super an
Yeah.
illusion. And so it's like
Yeah.
I think like when you think about like who are the most who are who's most dangerous to the military industrial whatever control
Mm.
nexus. It's like, why are artists dangerous? I think because
Mm.
artists are outside of, often artists are working outside of time, right?
Mm. Well,
They're
it's
working
flow state is a very different
very,
sense of time, like you said,
yes. And so it's like
Um,
it just makes me realize it's like time, I don't know, I'm really riffing on time is really this mode of controlling us. Because
well,
then
yeah,
if you're,
because you have left brain time and right brain time, right? Like the right brain is
oh,
infinite. The right brain doesn't have a clock. The left brain is loves order, time schedules, so we are both. We have both hemispheres, and the left brain loves a schedule, loves a plan, loves to know, the numbers and like how long this is taking and how productive, like that. And our culture is extremely left brain dominant. So it's almost like we've shrunken or we haven't used the right side flow state. But when you, like you said, when you're in flow, that's the right side of the brain. It's just inspirational, the now, it's the infinite now, which I do believe is true. That's the truth, right? We're always just in the moment we're in. Like we can't, and the more you can drop into the moment, the longer time seems to stretch, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
the more you're
yeah.
like, oh, or the faster times goes, but you don't realize it. Like you've like maybe 10 hours have gone by, but you're still working on the same painting, or you're still like enjoying the dance. You're dancing. Like I can dance for hours. And I hate, I mean, running is like, oh, if I had to run for 15 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, counting every minute. But I can't, but with music and flow, it's the flow state, right? You're just feeling music and you're just moving. It's just as much exercise, and I don't even notice it. Just like all of a sudden the DJ's done and it's 2 in the morning, you're like, oh, too bad, I could have done that for 2 more, and
Yes.
but man, someone told me to run that long. It'd be no way. So yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, and how like it kind of uh it really takes the joy out of it. I mean, like that, the flow state seems to be where all the good emotions come from too. Like that's like where we really enjoy ourselves, when time stops. Like all the language we have around it, like this moment in time where everything seemed to like you know disappear, and it was just this experience you were having. Those are our peak, as we describe those as our peak happiness, right? Like
Yes, yes,
um
yes.
like it just kind of became timeless for a minute, like when you're in love, or when you're in a beautiful sunset, or
Yes.
like something amazing,
Yes.
it's like time disappears, right? We talk about that as like the best thing ever, and I think that's when we get released from the
The
left brain.
tyranny.
tyranny of the culture, which is so left brain dominant, telling us that we should be, adjusting our, like, how do you look though while you're dancing, and like, what do how is this brushstroke right, and like anything that comes in and interrupts that, like, just ecstatic, flow state of being, makes it less awesome, right? It makes it
So,
less happy.
so this is totally okay. So, as you know, I do this art education thing, right? And I, so, it's been really challenging this last week. Like the kids cannot stop being like the volume level has just been really intense,
Mm.
and like trying to get them to like stop talking and like so I could give them the next bit of information that they need or whatever. But and this is a thing I've observed. It's like if I can get them, so like as part of the lesson, there's this time that they can draw, and it's like if I can get them to like hear me and give them the thing of like, all right, I'm gonna set the timer. We have 3 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever much time we have. This specific set of time for silent drawing. It's totally works. And I'm like, this is for you. This is not, we're not talking. This is just for you to get into your groove and do marks that please you. That's their assignment. They're not being told to draw anything specific. That like I just feel like when you just talked about the left brain, right brain, like that expansive place of we're more comfortable there. Like I don't, can you not be like anxious in your right brain? Like if you're
No,
accessing
you
it,
can't. You
if
can't.
you're accessing it, I feel like it's like all the dysregulation just kind of like melts.
Yep.
Like if I can get them to that, no matter, it doesn't have to be drawing, but if I can get them to that, like stop talking, and that's important. They have to be not talking. They don't do it if
Yeah.
there's like it's like the energetics talk about vibrations. The vibration of the room just goes from like really dysregulated to like zen. And like sometimes it's often at the end of the lesson. They could totally keep doing that. It's
Yeah.
like how do we get them to do that earlier? I don't know because it's
Yeah, that's
like
interesting. Yeah,
it's not,
I'm actually trying to apply that principle to my own life right now as you say that. I'm like, I wonder if it'd be easier if I just told myself I can just get up right now, and instead of doing like my little 5 minute thing, I get 5 minutes to just start by doing whatever I want. Like I can stretch,
yes, 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 yes,
move,
yes.
it's like, and I wonder if my brain would just be like, okay, like that's less resistance because it's just free form. And then when you're in that place, it's easier to move from that place, right? Because I think what I'm resisting is the schedule, like the
The
kind of
should.
the left brain of it all. And I think why I like journaling is because it's not, I let myself just write whatever. It is like a place where I can just be, there's no rules. It's just, I just get to do whatever I want. And I think that's what I love about it. So that's actually very insightful. I'm going to try that next time and see if that works. Gets me,
Nice.
it just opens the door, because that's all I
Yes,
need. I just
yes,
need to open the
yes,
door.
yes,
Um,
yes.
there's this
And it's
little
the
point of
it's
resistance, and that's all you. I mean, once you get past that little point, and I start doing yoga, I'm like, I want to do 5 minutes of yoga. I'll often do 15 because it feels good, like I know I want to do it. I think the resistance is the schedule of just, you know,
and it's in there all of the like the little what is it packaged in when it starts to feel like you should do it or like that's
yeah,
really it's even if it's like I want to do this, but once you feel like if I don't do it, I am
yeah.
XYZ bad.
Right. Yeah. There's some internal voice in there, right? That's like, this is what I should be doing. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
this is my month to do this. So I should get up and do it. And like, if that should is in there, there's some judgment like that. If I don't do it, I'm being lazy, or I'm not keeping my promise to myself or whatever. And I think that there is like, it's struggle because I think a lot of people face it's like, there's some truth, like, right. You want to have like some internal discipline to like change old habits that aren't healthy. Like, I think that's a good thing, but it really is about you're kind of playing a game with the two cultural voices in the brain, you know what I mean? Like, part of you wants to just have creative, be flowy, kind of do what you want, and then part of you needs a little bit of, I mean, it needs to have like a little block of time at least, or for me, I won't do it. It's just easier to like not do it at all. And then I feel bad later that I didn't do my thing because I was like, well, this is my time.
So the I had a really this totally it feels anyway, sorry, like the sparkly like all the connections.
Yeah, it's good.
But so yesterday I ran into somebody, a friend that I haven't seen in like years. Like I don't think I've seen her for at least 5 years. Definitely pre-COVID. Like I haven't for a long time, maybe longer. And really deeply lovely human.
Mm.
And I stopped at the co-op and she's like, "Wait, hey!" And I'm like, "Wait, hey!" And so we like stepped outside and just had like the power conversation for like 10 minutes. And I just felt like it's like, oh my God, you were just. I just felt like everything she said kept feeling like I so needed to hear that. Like, thank you. Like, whatever
Uh,
gods, goddesses, guardians like made this moment happen. I'm like so grateful, so grateful. Like, it's like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like those kinds of
mhm.
conversations. And so like part of like they just recently had a change in their employment because of all the cuts that are happening. But basically, they because she has a practice, she has a long-standing practice. I think she's Buddha, like she's really good, meditator,
Mhm.
like has a long practice. She's like, I feel she said I have this idea in my head. And she's like, I feel like the superhero walking away and behind me everything's blowing up, but inside I feel calm.
Oh, nice.
I
That's
was like,
great.
is it so great? And I'm like, oh my God. Like, so she's like, yeah, it's just like, and like how she's pivoting in this big
Mm.
transformative time that we're all going through. And I was like, oh my God. And she's like, and the only reason that is possible is because of my practice.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I know the practice that I want is very good for me. Like, I know it is. And I've had a meditation practice before that I love, you know what I mean? So I fell away from it when I got super super busy, and then I went free range chicken, and now the free range chicken is trying to pull back like parts of it that worked for her, you know? Like, it's very interesting, like, the struggle I'm having around this, like, okay, but I can see that, like, I can see, like, a 30-minute meditation practice would be transformative. I mean, it really would. It would give you that internal sense of superpower, of just I
Well, and
mean, it's
that's
a
definitely
good thing.
like this month has been like I don't know, like my job is really I keep talking about it because intrusive
Mhm.
thoughts, but it's been it's really intense. Sometimes it's really
Yeah,
intense and like not all of the places that I go to teach are as supportive as others and like sometimes it's like super duper stressful and like I realize it's like I cannot control these other agents. Like
that's right.
I don't I really it's like, and I got to stop comparing. I have to
Mhm.
stop comparing these two places because it does
Yeah,
not help. The only thing I can do is I have to return to my practice. And I'm
yeah,
totally off the wagon as far as meditation, which and I can tell because it's like I know when I am when I'm engaged with my practice,
yeah,
it is me walking through the explosions and being
yeah.
centered. Like I can negotiate it and like right now it's like it's so triggering. I'm like totally I'm like whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, 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 and then like have to
yeah.
spend 6 hours processing.
I mean, that's part of that, like what you said, you have to take entire days to like transition, I mean, that's part of it, right? Like,
And
because
if I do the meditation in the
yeah,
morning,
right.
I can shorten that time.
You could, because probably not as many hooks would grab, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do it
yeah.
because otherwise your brain's like processing stuff all like, oh, that got in, like that whole mantra I have, like, clear the channel, trust the process is my life mantra. And it feels like clearing the channel is like what I need to be doing right now. Just like,
Yes.
and so, but we talked about frequency and just understanding like that frequency of your own self, not the cultural self, which is what
Yes.
we've been discussing the whole time. Like, what is the cultural self that is the frequency that feels normal because I was raised in it, so it feels comfortable, it feels right. And then what is actually my truth frequency where all of my magic and power and inspiration and
Ah,
creativity live, right? So that is an interesting place to try to be sorting. in life, like at any point in life, you know. And I guess that's maybe when you see people who feel like they're really put together, like that girl I met, Francesca, bless her heart. And I was like, Francesca feels like she's got it going on, you know, like what am I missing? But I don't think it's that. I think what I really was envious of, if you have study envy, like what did you want there? Like what was the
Mm,
desire? The
hmm.
desire was that she's 29, she had three languages. That was my, like, because I was struggling with Spanish, you
Uh,
know. I'm like, I think of all the pieces of her, I was like, damn, you know, that's such a cool thing to have, because she can talk to people in Guatemala at this level I cannot. Like, and so
hmm.
it's keeping me from connecting, you know. So I just, with everyone, and so I'm just like, that was what I was like mostly jealous of, and the fact that she was so young, you know, because I was like, wow, you have this, and then you have your whole life to have this, you know.
That you, yeah, yeah, yeah.
What a great thing. But it doesn't matter. Like I am where I'm at, you know, like this is me now, and I'm here and I'm studying and like I'm doing my thing. It's just we're at different places. And yeah, it's always interesting to note like the part that gets like, ooh, I want that. And that's good. Like that's the desire. Like, you know, like I want that thing for me. Like I wish I had that, like that language
Well,
skill.
and you talked about earlier, like her, the system that she was in
Yeah.
while she was growing up was in support of a different
Multilingual, yeah, for
multi,
sure.
it was
Yeah.
in of a different thing. And so that I think is really a key, like when you start having like,
Hmm.
like the the vibes are getting like increasing, like angst, when you're having angst,
Yeah.
whatever
Angst.
angst is, like often I've been really tr like, is it a system? Is it a personal failing, or is it part of the
Right.
system?
No, I
You
didn't see
know,
it as a personal failing. Like
but
I
like,
definitely caught it before that. You know, I was like,
oh
oh, I'm
yeah,
not like just late. I'm just like a loser, and she's amazing. Like I didn't go there, but I just noticed like, wow, yeah, again, privilege, right? I mean, she was raised in a different environment, you know, with parents that were traveling internationally, and like it made sense to learn three languages, obviously, because she was being moved around, you know, like she as a child. So of course she's from Europe. We'll
but
have
I mean,
multiple.
I say that not because I think you were thinking of yourself as a loser, but like
Well, no, it
when
occurred to me when my
stress.
pizza showed up, or not a loser, but at least in a very American. I was like, shower this pizza. But you know, at the same time, I'm like, that pizza was delicious, and I wasn't mad about it. I really wanted that over the chickpeas any day. It was
Oh my
definitely
God.
eating. But
So
yes,
yeah,
can't
it's
help
like,
it when you're traveling and like you're in these spaces where everyone's like pretty much gorgeous and European and in their 20s, and obviously they have money and you know what I mean, they're having fun and they're traveling, and I end up in these kind of environments, and I look at myself and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, you know, the older lady here with her, you know, definitely not going to climb that silk trapeze, whatever thing you're doing. Like, you know, they're all in their aerial silks and doing handstands. And I mean, they're like, oh my God, like it's so far from my reality. And it's a beautiful thing, like to see people having like this, their free range lives. I love it. But yeah, it's hard to hold your like, nope, I'm still cool. I'm still here. I'm doing it. And like, I'm very proud of myself for doing this adventure. And you know, and yeah, I'm not 20 anymore. I mean, it's just the reality. And when I was sitting in a tree protesting. I mean, I was doing something different. It took a different
yeah,
road,
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
uh,
totally.
but I wouldn't
I was,
trade it. Like I honestly, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy to be in my 50s. It's also an interesting, you know, it's its own adventure. You know, it's a different time. What can I say? We go back to time. It's like it's just a different chapter of your life. And when I look at that, it's like gorgeous and beautiful and like full of energy. And I'm also like, well, and it's just I just have a different layer to it. You know, I've like four more decades on top. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, three more decades on top of that have layered in. Like, you know, like that's okay. You know, that's worth something. It's valuable, and I don't want to. I would didn't trade it. I really wouldn't. Um,
Oh, I just,
maybe
I
for a
think,
perfect Italian and Spanish would be.
but just like, I mean, what a really difficult time to be. The Gen Z generation is
That's right.
like it's a pretty challenging time to be on the planet,
It
like,
is.
and
It is.
so I do. Okay, so like, yeah, 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 it's such a, to catch your, like to catch yourself and to see, like, last time we talked, it was all about like, oh my gosh, like if I can be in this frequency, it's all love.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and to realize it's like it's really it's like what how do we access that love frequency when you're in more mundane space? Like you were in the sacred place with like a
Mm-hmm.
temple
Mm-hmm.
and we're like totally accessing,
Oh yeah.
tapped into the fountain of divine love. And then it's like when we re-enter mundane space in a
Mm.
village, not that it's not sacred, because obviously everything around us like is
Yeah.
sacred, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like
It's just a mindset. It's a mindset.
it's
And the other thing I want to just say really quickly on that topic is how do you keep like what I really I'm in the storytelling work kind of like class online, and one of the things she said that really struck me this week was we like the story of change, because that's really what's going on, right? Like we're just in change all the time, and it's just navigating that. And so at any point we could tell a different story about where we are, like, that's what I was trying to mean. Like I look at her, this beautiful girl, and I'm like, but that's not my story, right? Like it's I have my own story, and I
mm,
know I wouldn't trade my story because it's mine. And like I've worked really hard like just to be here, and so I wouldn't ever trade any of those experiences away. But like one of the things with the story of change, and that's kind of the name of the class, and I'm in a huge change. So I thought, well, I'll be good. Like that I've realized is that the word change is actually coming from the word exchange. Like that's like the root of the word. It's
mm,
not about and in transformation kind of in the old Celtic, it's like to twist or to bend, like the willow, and and in like going back into like I don't know the Latin of it all, it's like a more like an exchange like of money and stuff. It's like changing currency for back and forth. And so I started thinking about it, and we all were talking about all the big changes we've been going through. And she's like, but nowhere in the definition of that word is anything about loss. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting. I just paused and thought about that, because we often think this change is like we lose something,
hmm
you know? And then she's like, it's always an exchange. We're always exchanging one thing for the next, And I thought about that. And we often frame in our culture of like linear progression, like change is loss. Like we've lost some
yes,
traction, we've lost some ground, we lost that marriage, we lost that job, we lost our health. But instead, when you think of it, I exchanged this for that. Like, yes, something happened, something twisted, it wasn't the path I thought I was going to go on. And yet, I think almost in every circumstance, we could say, I gave up this, and then this is what I got, right? And it was an exchange of some kind, energetically. Like,
yes, yes.
um no matter what it is. And that was such a big reframe for me. Like I was like, it's really fascinating, because I have been thinking about, like you sold your land. It's like, it's kind of like losses, like my community, like you can list it as a series of losses, and then now you have to go figure out your new gains, right? Like what do you have? And you feel like, I don't have very much. But no, actually that's not true at all. It was all an exchange. It was an exchange for time, for money, for all these
Yes,
freedom,
yes.
for all the things I just traded in, the stability for freedom, the debt, honestly, for like for having
It's so if
paid
it is
off.
it so is it like it's like an if you look at it that way, then it's like you
We haven't
have
lost
you
any time.
also it's like you're negotiating. You're and you can you're like how do you bring acceptance and consent into what happens? And if it's only a story of loss, and it's not, we've talked about loss and grief. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah,
this
yeah.
huge work
Of
also.
course, of
But
course.
but if it is but when you reframe it, when you reframe a hard experience, I'm sorry, I'm like so lounged here, like a,
I know you're
but like when like I'm such a mover, it's really I apologize if anybody's trying to watch me. Um, if it's an exchange, that this is I haven't heard of it framed this way, and it's making my brain just go beep. But like
I know, it's
it's
cool.
if it's an exchange, then that's re-empowering you when you're looking at
Yes.
it through that lens, because it's sort of like, okay, so like I like I'm thinking this because like the hardest thing that I had to reframe in my life was that I decided to do chemotherapy, and I
Mm-hmm.
was literally having poison funneled through a machine directly into my heart, sent to my whole body.
Yeah.
Like, and it was there for like 6 hours every 2 weeks to get poisoned,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Yeah.
that, it was like part of an organic cafe, like
Right.
it was like really a mind bender. And like I'm like I have to reframe this. And so like
Yep.
I took a Sharpie and I wrote all over the chemo bag before they hung it up with all these blessings. And like
Mm,
I like did this whole thing and I'm like, okay, did that. But like, and it changed everything about that experience for me because I'm choosing this and this is what I
mm,
want to happen from this.
mm-hmm.
This is what I am exchanging this for this. Like I
Yep.
know this is going to make me super sick. And
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna come back and sign up again. Like,
Yep. Yep.
like that was the but putting it at this framing that and just looking at that like in a way that became this really empowering experience for me. That was a very
Yeah.
and it wasn't just like this like grueling, horrible thing. It
Right.
actually was transformed because of mindset and intention and
Yep.
like this is no judgment of anybody else and however anybody else, but that was like the only that is what got me through that. I don't know, there's probably
Yeah.
options, but like that completely transformed that experience for me. I exchanged
Yep.
this idea of it as suffering into
Yeah.
this other thing.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm sorry, I'm talking really, really fast, but
No, no, it's good. I think that that's a perfect example of, if you see it as an exchange. And I was going to say, like, for aging, because so many people are like, I've lost my youth, I've lost this, and that's the cultural story. And people try to do
yes,
all this, stuff, especially women, because it's really hoisted on women very strongly to like try to hold on to, right, a certain age or a
yes,
certain look or a certain attractiveness to the male gaze or whatever. And I realized after I came back from meeting beautiful little Francesca that like that I wouldn't trade it like for her life. You know what I mean? Because I have
yes,
exchanged certain years of my life for parts of me, like for parts of my strengths,
yes,
parts
yes,
of who
yes,
I know, who I am, and just like, yeah, just like life. I don't know, experience and wisdom, I guess, that comes from just living through that, and I wouldn't exchange that for anything, for anybody else's, because it's mine. And and then that's the exchange with getting into your 50s. You've traded something and now you have a different experience.
yes.
And that's a beautiful, and that really is an empowering, like you said, it's a very empowering way to look at that. Like I've changed in my 20s for my 50s, and that was I mean, it's where I am at. And I think that was a good trade. I'm not going to go back. I don't want to go back to that part of my life where I had to do all that work through my 30s and 40s to get to,
Yes.
like, get to where I am now. And I think that that's it. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there at the end when we
Oh,
think
I
about
love it.
time, because
Oh
we
my
can
God.
often think we've lost time, like, like, oh, I could have been doing all this. You never lose time. You're always exchanging it for something. Like there's an exchange going on all the time. And I think the more conscious we can get of the exchange, the more empowered we are.
And that we will because just like you were talking about, like if you are thinking I should do yoga, there's so much resistance to doing it.
Yes.
And so if you are thinking of if you can think of it as an exchange, then you may
Uh-huh.
choose differently.
Right. I would, I think. I mean, me even saying it makes me feel differently about it internally. Like I'm exchanging this time for this result that I want, like in whatever,
And
couple
what a good
months.
deal.
It's a good deal.
Americans love good deals.
Use whatever cultural tool you've got to help you along this process. We love a good deal. Excellent. An
Oh my
hour, 90
God.
minutes. That's not very
Oh,
long.
sorry,
Like,
babe.
yeah.
If you have listened to this conversation, this
Right.
free range, I feel like we should be the Nurture Pod free range
Yep.
podcast.
We are a free range podcast. We just roam wherever we want. It's been an hour and a half. We've been roaming all over. Yeah, so if you've hung with us this long, just know that you've exchanged this 90-minute of your life for an enlightening conversation that may change the way you think about time and changes that are going on in your life for the rest of your life. This is it. Like, this 90 minutes might be the key to make your whole life feel more valuable and fulfilling. That's a great
I'm
deal.
like, that is a great deal.
And it's free. We gave you that for free.
I feel like my mind is like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go back to threading my loom and be my
Oh
brain's gonna
yeah.
be going bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, threading the loom. We're all just threading our looms. That's we could do a whole like. There's so many like great metaphors on weaving and like fate and all the ways we weave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I
one.
highly recommend if you haven't never done any weaving in your
I'm
life,
gonna look into
your
that. Thanks for.
ancestors are just waiting for you
Yeah,
to pick it up.
they are. And I told you, Iris, like one of the workshops we're gonna do together at some point is they were these beautiful these
Yes.
waistbands, and they had a name and I don't remember what they are, but like I'll message my friend about them what the names. But they tie them around the women's waist specifically for ritual because it's our most powerful center, and it's like we have to protect our like most our womb chakra. And so they have these beautiful sashes that they make entire, and they're all every like design on them is meaningful. Like it's they have this. So I really want to make these kind of like second chakra ritual belts that you can put on when you're doing
Uh,
powerful stuff, which I think is really cool. So that's going to be a future nurture
beep,
workshop
beep, beep.
at some point. We're going to weave
I
our
guess.
belts with our own personal symbols on them.
Yeah, we should go. We could do it in New Mexico at my sister's.
Yes, there you go. Everybody sign up for this workshop that's going to happen at some point in the
Coming
next
in
decade. Yeah,
2035.
somewhere in there. It's going to happen. All
Oh,
right.
big love.
Love you so much. Love you all,
Thank you.
people, for listening. This is episode 47. We are very close. We are approaching 50, which we
Oh,
which is very exciting. Yeah.
that is exciting.
Yeah.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right,
I
here we
know. We're
go,
gonna be
Mama.
cresting 50 soon and then on our way to 100 episodes, which is exciting. Think about it. Okay,
All
everyone,
right.
thanks for listening, and we will see you soon.
All right. Be
Adios.
safe, baby.